Henry, if a conquest mission fails, do you get erased? Amanda's voice was so soft, it almost blended into the hum of the hospital vending machine behind us. Her hands were folded on her lap, perfectly still, except for the tiniest twitch of her pinky finger. I smiled gently. No. Her shoulders relaxed. She even smiled back, faint, relieved, trusting. That was her mistake. Good, she whispered. That's really good. I turned slightly toward her, pretending I didn't already know what was coming. Because Douglas is a conqueror too, and if he fails to win me over, he'll die. She looked away. I can't let that happen. I felt the air between us change. The faint chill of inevitability entered the room. She continued. So I agreed. I told him I'd marry him. I didn't blink. Amanda kept going, her voice growing softer, guiltier with every word. To save him, I have to make the system think he succeeded. We have to pretend, just until it's over. Then I'll come back to you. I nodded once, steady, mechanical, like I had no feelings left to lose. Her next words arrived like a courtesy, a formality wrapped in pain. Let's cancel our engagement. She waited. I met her gaze. Okay? And that was it. That was all I said. She blinked, taken aback, maybe expecting more, but there was nothing else to say. I had already rehearsed this scene 1,000 times in my mind, how to look, how to breathe, how to lie. Because the truth wasn't that I didn't mind, the truth was that I had already failed the mission. And in this system, the one who fails doesn't get erased. The one who's loved by the failing conqueror dies. Amanda thinks she's saving Douglas. But in trying to save him, she just signed her own death certificate. Amanda's birthday party was everything she hated and everything she deserved, elegant, excessive, and filled with the kind of people who only showed up for cameras or cocktails. But in the center of it all stood Amanda in a soft gold gown, her expression calm and poised as if the glittering ballroom had been designed around her. I walked up slowly through the crowd, palms slightly clammy, heart rhythmic but heavy. The velvet box in my jacket felt like it weighed 10 pounds. When I reached her, the string quartet softened. The guests around us instinctively formed a circle. I got down on one knee, gasps, whispers, raised phones. Amanda froze. I looked up at her, then opened the ring box. The diamond inside caught the chandelier light and scattered it in hundreds of colors across her dress. The system in my head pinged immediately. Affection level, 89%. Status, deeply in love. One more level and we were there. Mission progress, 97%. Excellent. Remaining, emotional peak. Amanda's hands flew to her mouth. Her eyes brimmed. Her fingers trembled. I didn't say a word. I didn't need to. She reached out to me, ready to accept. And then, a loud thud. It came from behind her, near the drinks table, then screaming. I saw the crowd parting just as Amanda turned. Douglas, collapsing, limbs spasming, eyes rolling back. Amanda bolted before I could stop her. She shoved people aside, dropped to her knees, and caught his head before it hit marble. I stood frozen, still holding the ring. My system spoke again. Warning, mission interrupted, emotional peak delayed. Then another sound, metal hitting floor. I looked down. The ring had slipped from my fingers and hit the tiles. It bounced once, then twice. Then someone stepped on it. The chaos swallowed it. I watched it roll under someone's shoe, kicked again, flattened slightly, and vanish beneath the stampede of heels, gone. Amanda was still shaking Douglas, her voice trembling. Douglas, stay with me. Douglas, look at me. I approached, calmly, silently, knelt beside her. I'm a doctor, I said. Let me examine him. Only then did Amanda acknowledge I was even there. She moved back, just enough. I checked Douglas, pulse, pupils, temperature, fainting spell, likely induced. He's fine, I said. He needs rest. Amanda didn't believe me. He passed out, Henry. He collapsed. That's not fine. Then take him to the hospital, I said, straightening up. She stared at me for one long second, then she nodded and waved someone over. A driver, 2 friends. They carried him out. Amanda didn't say another word, just followed. I followed too. When she reached the car, she opened the back door, climbed in next to Douglas, then moved to the driver's seat. Her hands were shaking so badly she couldn't even start the engine. Let me drive, I said, stepping forward. She looked up at me, her eyes were red-rimmed. She hesitated, then slid over into the passenger seat. I touched her hand on the gear shift. It was ice cold. No need to thank me, I said softly. I'm your fiancé. She flinched, then, quietly, she pulled her hand away and turned her head. Just drive. The system pinged again. Warning, affection level dropped sharply. New level, 79%. Status, vulnerable. I tightened my grip on the wheel, focused on the road, pretended not to notice how she kept glancing at Douglas in the rearview mirror. After the emergency room declared it a case of exhaustion, Amanda insisted he be admitted overnight. She stayed with him while I handled the fees. When I returned and stood outside the room, I heard voices. Chairwoman Amanda, I'm fine, Douglas said. It's just that when Henry proposed, the system punished me with a shock. He chuckled faintly, like it was a joke. Now, do you believe I'm really a conqueror too? Amanda said nothing for a moment. Then, I already have Henry. I won't betray him. Then why were you so nervous when I fainted? I owe you my life. Chairwoman, can you honestly say you didn't feel anything? Amanda's voice was composed. I care for my staff, that's all. But I saw her fists, quietly clenched. That was her tell. She always clenched her fists when she lied. I remembered that moment clearly. 3 years ago, a billboard had fallen outside her office. Douglas shoved her out of the way and took the hit. 32 stitches across his forehead, a long, jagged scar. He refused compensation, said he only wanted to stay in the company, to stay near her. And she let him. Even an iceberg melts, given enough time. Then you'll owe me your whole life, he whispered. Because the day you marry Henry is the day I die. Amanda froze. Her shoulders tensed. She began. You saved me once. Let me save you back, Douglas said. Marry me. I turned away. I didn't listen to the rest. I walked alone back to my car. Alone through the hospital corridor. Alone with the growing ache that I had ignored for too long. Amanda had once told me she couldn't imagine a life without me. That no matter what the world threw at us, she'd hold on. She had said that the day I saved her. The day she was diagnosed with late-stage stomach cancer. She had already been planning her funeral. I told her she wasn't dying on my watch. I performed her surgery myself, used every connection, every ounce of system energy I had. When her affection reached 60%, the system told me the surgery would succeed. At 100%, she'd never relapse again. She'd live a long, healthy life. We hit 89%. And then Douglas collapsed. Now, the cancer is back. I know it. I can see the signs, the fatigue in her posture, the dullness and her skin. But this time, the system is silent. Because her affection is dropping. And if it drops too low, no surgeon alive will be able to save her. The countdown has already begun. It was close to midnight when Amanda came home. I had fallen asleep on the couch, still in scrubs from my double shift. The food I'd prepared for her birthday was cold, untouched. The cake sat on the table, candles waiting for a light that never came. She walked in quietly. Her heels were off. Her hair smelled like someone else's cologne. I stirred awake, blinking through fatigue, only to feel the cold press of her lips on my cheek. You're awake, she whispered, trying to slide into bed next to me. I gently pushed her away, not roughly, not angrily, just firmly. She paused, visibly startled. In the past, even though we agreed to no sex before marriage, I never pushed her away from simply lying close. What's wrong? She asked, sitting at the edge of the bed now, her voice lower, stiffer. I sat up. I heard everything, I said. You and Douglas, at the hospital. Amanda didn't deny it. She just nodded once and said, Silence. Then she spoke again. If a conquest mission fails, do you get erased? There it was. The shift, the setup. No, I said. She breathed out, slow and relieved. I thought so. Then she looked me directly in the eyes. Douglas told me the truth. He's a conqueror too. When you proposed to me, his system punished him with electric shocks. If he can't win me over, he'll die. So to help him survive, I agreed to marry him. I didn't react. She added quickly, it's fake. It's just to trick the system. Once it's complete and he's safe, I'll come back to you. There was sincerity in her eyes, but her fingers were trembling. We'll still get married, Henry. I swear it, just not yet. I smiled faintly, the way someone does when they already know the ending. Amanda tilted her head, confused by my silence. You're not saying anything. I'm just thinking, I said. About what? About how carefully you've planned this lie. Henry, she said softly, I love you, you know that. I nodded. You do? I do. I leaned forward. Then answer me this. If Douglas wants to register your marriage, hold a wedding ceremony, or even sleep with you, will that be part of the act too? Her eyes flared. What the hell kind of question is that? An honest one. Amanda's voice dropped into ice. You're being controlling. No. You're jealous. Still no reply. You think I'd betray you for real? She snapped. Like I'd ever sleep with him? I looked at her. Wouldn't you? She stepped back like I'd hit her. If you really loved me, you'd trust me. I said it's an act. Acts don't involve kisses, I said. Or calling him Doug like you've been together for years. Or spending your birthday with him instead of the man who cleared his entire schedule to cook your favorite meal. She looked down. You know what I heard over the phone? I asked, voice calm. I heard Douglas saying, will you kiss me, just once, for the system, I don't want to get shocked again. And you didn't say no. Amanda's jaw clenched. I'm doing this to save someone's life. So am I. What's that supposed to mean? I looked her straight in the eye. Nothing. Forget it. Henry, she said, you're not making sense. I walked to the window and folded my arms, pretending to look out. Amanda's voice came again, lower, shaking now. I told you I love you. And I told you I believe you, I said. Another lie. Amanda walked out of the room, furious. The next morning, she left early. I didn't see her again for days. I kept working. I sent her messages. She replied once or twice, short texts, polite, distant. One night I called her. Amanda, can we talk? I'm busy. Today's your birthday. I know. I made dinner. I can't come. I tried to say something more, but then I heard Douglas's voice in the background, soft, sickly. Amanda, can you kiss me? Just one kiss. It hurts so bad. Please. I heard her hesitate. Heard her sigh. Then the call disconnected. I stood still in my kitchen, the candles on her birthday cake still flickering, the food untouched. The system pinged in my mind again. Affection level, 72%, warning. Emotional bond weakening. I texted her. I remember every word you've ever said. You told me you wanted to spend every birthday with me. I've been pulling 16-hour shifts all week just to make time for you today. And now you're kissing him. It doesn't feel like you need me anymore. I waited for a reply. There was none. 2 days later, she sent a cake to the hospital. No note, just a name on the box. Amanda. I gave it to a 5-year-old girl who had just come out of surgery. She smiled wider than Amanda had all month. I made a habit of it. Every cake Amanda sent, I gave away. Every gift, I passed on. It felt better than throwing them out. Better than pretending they still meant something. One morning, Amanda appeared in the parking lot. I was unlocking my car when she stepped into view, arms folded, eyes tight with something between worry and hope. You've been ignoring me. I've been busy. You're mad. I don't have time to be mad. I know you, she said. You're mad. Then she stepped closer. Hugged me tight. Whispered, Henry, I missed you. I called, you blocked me. I came to your place, the door code changed. I didn't move. I'm about to marry someone else, even if it's fake, and you're really going to let me go like this? I laughed once, bitter. If you really missed me, wait for me here till my shift ends. I'll be off at 8. Amanda looked surprised. You're not coming with me? I'll come if you're still here when I get back. She looked at the hospital entrance, then at me. She didn't say no. But when I came back, she was gone. And that night, I saw the wedding announcement online. Amanda Liu and Douglas Hayes had registered their marriage. The photo was taken at City Hall. Amanda was smiling. I wasn't even told. The system whispered in my mind like a funeral bell. Mission status pending. Patient at high risk. 69% affection level. I said nothing. Because if I told her the truth, that I was the failed conqueror, then Amanda's system would kill her instantly. But if I stayed quiet, she'd die slowly. It was always going to be one or the other. I still cooked her favorite dishes. Not because I thought she'd come, but because some part of me needed to remember what it used to feel like when she did. Black truffle risotto. Miso glazed sea bass. Vanilla bean milfoil. The kind of meals she once said tasted like love. The kind of meals that now went cold under soft kitchen lights. I'd text her. Remember that year you made me promise not to work on your birthday? I swapped 2 surgeries just to be there. You fell asleep on my shoulder before dessert even came. I miss that version of you. She replied, hours later. Sorry, I've got something today. Can we talk later? Later never came. The next day, a cake arrived at the nurse's station. Card tucked inside. Her name, no message. I placed it on a tray and walked it to the children's oncology wing. A boy named Eli, leukemia, stage 3, lit up when he saw the frosting. Is this for me? Every bit, I said. He offered me the first slice. I told him I wasn't hungry. More cakes came, every day, different flavors, no words, I gave them all away. The system didn't say much, it pulsed faintly behind my thoughts, like a patient in low-level distress. It was trying not to alarm me, but I already knew. Amanda's affection level hadn't gone up since the hospital. Every time I gave away a cake, the number slipped further. I refused to unblock her. It wasn't punishment, it was survival. Still, I kept checking my phone, reading our old messages, the one where she sent a selfie with no makeup and wrote, "Can I be your emergency case forever?" The one where I replied, "You already are." One morning, as I stepped into the hospital lot, Amanda was waiting. She looked exhausted, hair loose, no earrings, sleeves rolled up like she hadn't slept. Her eyes were glossy, but not red, not yet. "Henry," she said. I didn't stop walking. "Henry, please." She followed me, matched my steps, then grabbed my coat. I stopped. "I'm sorry," she whispered. I didn't know how to say it. I didn't respond. "I missed you," she said. "I've missed you every single day." I looked at her, nothing in my face moved. "I called, you blocked me, I came to your place, you changed the code." "I had to," I said. "Too many delivery drivers." "I'm marrying someone else," she said, voice cracking. "Even if it's fake, don't you have anything to say?" I paused, then laughed quietly. "You sound like the one who's being left." Amanda flinched. "If you really missed me," I said, "wait for me until my shift ends. 8 o'clock, I'll meet you here." She looked shocked. "You're not coming with me now?" "No," I said. "But I'll come. If you're still here." She stared at me. Then, slowly, nodded. I walked inside. At 8:03 p.m., I stepped back out. She was gone. That night, David, my colleague, stormed into the on-call room with his phone in hand. "Dude, you didn't tell me you and Amanda got hitched." I blinked. "What?" He flipped his phone toward me. City Hall, Amanda smiling in a cream blazer, bouquet in hand, Douglas beside her, slightly hunched, acting like he didn't expect the photo. David laughed. "Wait, hold up, that's not you." "No." "Is that her assistant, the one who fainted?" I didn't say anything. "Oh my God," he muttered, eyes wide. "So she really was?" "Yeah," I said. "She really was." David didn't laugh anymore. He stood there awkwardly, then mumbled something about a consult and left the room. I stared at the screen long after he left. The date, the time, the smile. Amanda had specifically blocked me from seeing the post, but forgot about everyone else. The system finally spoke. Mission failed. 3 words. 3,000 echoes. I looked out the window. "She'll die at the wedding, won't she?" I asked. "Yes," the system said, "once the vows are exchanged." It waited. "You can still stop it." I shook my head. "No, she made her choice." The system didn't argue. I sat down. The wedding was 2 days away. The hotel ballroom had been transformed into a dream, soft pink orchids lining the aisles, crystal chandeliers dripping golden light, ivory linen tables, and champagne towers that glimmered like they belonged in a fantasy. But as I stood in the back row, nearly unnoticed, the only thing I saw was the altar, and the woman standing at it. Amanda. She wore the exact dress she once said she'd wear for me. Slim cut, minimalist, no lace, just elegance and gravity. Her hair was curled the way I liked. She even wore the earrings I'd bought her last winter. She avoided my eyes. But what I couldn't avoid, what stopped my breath, was the song playing in the background. Perfect. Ed Sheeran's voice floated through the air like a knife coated in nostalgia. It was the song I told her I wanted at our wedding. When we dance for the first time as husband and wife, I'd said. I'll probably cry, she had replied, laughing. You'd better not ruin my makeup. Now the music played. She was standing there, but I wasn't the groom. Douglas was. He stood beside her like a prize winner, trying not to smirk. As he walked past me, he tilted his head ever so slightly and whispered, "Looks like I won." I said nothing. My hands remained at my sides, but I could feel them shaking, feel the crescents of my nails carving deep into my palms. I didn't move, not even when Amanda's gaze briefly flickered toward me during the vows. She didn't hold it, she couldn't. The officiant spoke the words like a countdown to a detonation. "Do you, Douglas Hayes, take Amanda Liu to be your lawfully wedded wife?" "I do," he said. The room exhaled. The officiant turned. "Do you, Amanda Liu, take Douglas Hayes to be your lawfully wedded husband?" She began, a pause. "I do." And then, she coughed. Once. Then again, harder. Her shoulders convulsed. Red blood sprayed across the front of Douglas's white suit, like someone had uncorked a bottle of wine too violently. The room exploded in screams. Amanda collapsed, knees hitting the ground hard, hands trembling, blood smeared across her mouth. Douglas caught her too late. She writhed in his arms, choking. "Someone help! Help!" Douglas screamed, panic turning his voice raw. Someone shouted, "Get a doctor!" All heads turned, but I was already gone. I had left halfway through the vows. By the time Amanda arrived at the hospital in an ambulance, I was already in scrubs. I stood outside the emergency bay, clipboard in hand, waiting. Douglas stumbled out of the vehicle beside her, still stained with blood. You're not treating her." Her best friend, Rachel, pushed him aside. "Shut the hell up," she snapped. "You're the reason she's like this. You think just because she married you, you get to make decisions for her? Amanda trusts Henry more than anyone." "I demand a transfer," Douglas screamed. "I'll sue this hospital if he touches her." Rachel turned on him, eyes blazing. She trusted him to save her the first time, and she'll trust him now. Amanda was wheeled in, unconscious. The nurses looked to me. I gave a nod. "Start full vitals, CT, CBC, LFTs, CA markers. I want tumor activity maps within the hour." "Yes, Dr. Chen." I entered the room 10 minutes later. Amanda was conscious now, but barely. Her skin was pale, her eyes bloodshot, her pulse erratic. She blinked up at me. Her lips were cracked. "Henry?" I didn't move closer. "I need you to save me," she whispered. I looked down at her chart, then back at her. Terminal relapse, stage 4, infiltration has crossed gastric wall margins, less than 3 months. Amanda trembled. That can't be." "You asked me to let you go," I said. "Now your system has." She shook her head violently. No, the system should have protected me. I said I'd come back to you. It was just acting, just." "The system doesn't care about intentions," I said flatly. "It only cares about affection levels, and yours dropped too far." Tears pooled at the corners of her eyes. "But I love you. It's too late." "Henry, please." Her voice cracked, desperate. "You did it once. You saved me. You can do it again." I met her eyes. "That was when you loved me." She reached out for my hand. I didn't take it. Douglas was pacing just outside the door. I watched him through the glass. I turned back to Amanda. "You made your choice," I said. "You said I do." Amanda collapsed back into the pillow, her shoulders shaking. Blood still stained her lips. I picked up the chart. "We'll make her comfortable," I told the nurse, "but surgery's not an option. Her levels are too low. Even chemo will just speed it up." The nurse nodded quietly. Amanda's voice came again, small, broken. "Henry, please." I turned away. "There's nothing more I can do." Amanda refused to eat. She lay on her side, blanket up to her chin, her long hair tied loosely with a faded ribbon. The IV pumped slow and steady beside her, feeding her calories, fluids and painkillers she didn't want to admit she now needed. "Henry," she whispered when I entered the room. Her voice was weaker today, thinner at the edges. "I'm ready." I glanced at her chart. "Ready for what?" "Surgery. I want to fight." I didn't respond. Amanda lifted herself up slightly on her elbow. "I'm serious. I know I said terrible things. I know what I did was wrong, but I want to live. I'll do anything." I walked to the counter and set down her chart. "It's not a matter of will." "It was before, wasn't it?" she said quickly. 3 years ago, when I first got diagnosed, every hospital turned me away. But you didn't. You saved me. You told me we had a chance. You said the system would help if you loved me, I said without turning around. Silence. Amanda slowly climbed out of bed, trying to stand on shaking legs. "I love you now." She took 2 steps toward me and reached out to touch my shoulder. I turned slightly and saw it. Just beneath the neckline of her gown, faint but fresh, a mark, the unmistakable blur of a hickey. I stared at it for 1 breath. Then 2. Amanda noticed and instinctively covered it with her hand, eyes wide. "Henry, wait, I can explain." I stepped back. She froze. "Please don't look at me like that. It wasn't. I didn't mean for it to happen. It was that night I fainted. I was weak, confused. He kissed me. I thought it was you. I wasn't thinking straight." "You slept with him?" Amanda shook her head. "It didn't mean anything. You married him. That didn't mean anything either. And yet here we are." "I was trying to save him," she shouted suddenly. "He told me if I didn't go through with it, he would die." I didn't move. I just looked at her, and for the first time in weeks, my expression changed. Not rage, not sadness, just something sharper. "Then maybe you should go back and ask your husband to save you." Amanda's mouth fell open. I left the room. That night, she filed for divorce. The next morning, Douglas was at the foot of her bed, on his knees, trembling. "You can't," he whispered. "You can't leave me." Amanda had the papers on her lap, unsigned. She didn't even look at him. "You told me it was all fake," she said. "That once the wedding passed, we were done." Douglas's voice cracked. "I lied." Amanda finally turned. "What?" He looked up, tears streaking his face. "I lied. Nothing's over. The system hasn't cleared me. It says I haven't succeeded yet. Your affection still hasn't hit 100%. Amanda went pale. Douglas reached for her hand, but she pulled it back. "I didn't know," he said. "I thought the wedding would be enough. I thought sleeping with you would push it over." "You used me," Amanda breathed. "I didn't have a choice," he said. "If you divorce me, the system will mark the mission as failed, and I'll die." Amanda stood up, wobbling on her feet, but she stood. "You tricked me into marrying you, into sleeping with you, into thinking this was about survival, but you were just trying to win." "I am trying to survive," Douglas cried. "Please, please, Amanda, just let me stay. Let me stay by your side, even if you don't love me yet. Maybe one day you will. Maybe it'll change." The door opened. I stepped in. Amanda turned immediately. "Henry." She ran to me, half hobbled, half sprinting. I was wrong about everything. I thought I could control it. I thought if I just acted, the system wouldn't know. I wanted to come back to you. I meant to. I swear I did. I stood still. She reached out and gripped my sleeves. "Please, save me." Douglas rose behind her, staggering. "Don't listen to her. She's just trying to manipulate you now. Get out," I said. Douglas opened his mouth to argue. "I said out," I repeated, eyes narrowing. "I'm not your doctor, and you're no longer her husband." He looked between us, then fled the room. Amanda turned back to me. "Is it true?" she asked. "Is what the system said true, that your mission failed?" I nodded once. Her voice dropped. "Then why am I dying?" I looked at her. "Because you were never meant to live." She blinked, uncomprehending. "You had a 0% survival rate when you were first diagnosed. the only reason the surgery worked the first time was because your affection level reached 60%. At 100%, your cancer would have never returned. But, I continued flatly, once the mission failed, your affection level dropped, and the cancer came back. Aggressively. The system has withdrawn all its support. There's no algorithm left working in your favor. Amanda's knees buckled. She sank to the floor. Then let me love you again, she whispered. Let me try. Let me fix it. It's irreversible. No, she said, tears falling freely now. It can't be. We still have time. If I try, if I focus, if I devote myself to you the way I should have. The damage is done. She broke into sobs. Behind the glass, her friends gathered. Hell, Lisa, one of her old college roommates. They banged on the window. Dr. Chen, don't do this, please, she's not thinking straight, she just needs help, give her a chance. I raised my hand and turned away from the window. I'm not your fiancé, Amanda, I said, I'm your doctor. She looked up at me, broken. And this case, I added, has no cure. Amanda's decline was fast, so fast, it scared the nurses who had seen every kind of terminal deterioration before. Within days, her weight dropped, her face thinned, her gums bled when she coughed, she refused to eat. Even IV drips weren't being absorbed properly anymore. Rachel tried moving her to another hospital. Lisa called overseas connections, a doctor in Berlin, a center in Singapore, a trial in Boston. Each reply came back the same. Unacceptable condition, no viable protocols, end stage only. She was dying, and the whole world had quietly decided to let her. Douglas didn't last much longer either. 2 days after Amanda signed the divorce certificate, he stepped into a crosswalk without checking both sides. Whether it was an accident or something else, no one could say. The surveillance footage showed him standing there, staring down at something in his hands, a wrinkled wedding photo, until a delivery truck smashed him into the curb. Amanda received the news in silence. I visited her room the following week. She was unrecognizable, sunken cheeks, bone-thin wrists, dark circles under her eyes that even the best contour wouldn't have covered. She smiled when I entered. Still handsome, she said, voice hoarse. I said nothing. She struggled to sit up. I adjusted her pillow without being asked. I'm sorry, she whispered. I opened her chart. For what? For all of it. I flipped through the last scans. New lesions, widespread necrosis. Days, maybe hours. I didn't know how to come back from it, she said. Every time I looked at you, I hated myself a little more. You made your choice, I said quietly, and you let go of the only thing keeping you alive. Amanda's eyes glistened. I didn't mean to. I thought I was doing the right thing. I didn't respond. She pulled at the edge of her blanket, then looked down. That night, the one you saw the mark. I didn't lose her Mars. Okay at her. He drugged me, she whispered. Douglas, I thought he was you. I didn't realize until it was over. I swear I didn't want it. I finally met her eyes. She looked up with every ounce of her remaining hope. I shrugged. Still happened. Her breath caught. I don't take back used goods, I said. The IV beeped in the background. Amanda closed her eyes. A tear rolled down her cheek, slowly sliding across the curve of her chin. I deserve that, she whispered. All of it. She looked at me again. After I die, will you come visit me? During Qingming? Just once a year. I shook my head. Why? Because after you die, I said, the system will erase every memory I have of you. Her lips parted. She looked as though I'd stabbed her in the chest. So I won't even leave a trace? No. She broke into quiet sobs. No screams, no drama, just a sound like something collapsing inside her ribcage. I stood up. I hope you find peace, I said. She didn't respond. That night, Amanda Liu died in her sleep. No last words, no medical emergency, just a quiet slip from one world to another. The hospital staff called me. I handled the paperwork. Her will left everything to me, her assets, her shares, her properties, even the diamond ring she never got to wear. The same one I found weeks ago, crushed beneath a party guest's heel. I had kept it in a drawer, bent and scratched, just in case. Now it sat in a black box on top of a legal envelope. I arranged the funeral myself. No one else had the authority. Her friends cried, clung to each other. Rachel threw a flower into the grave and whispered apologies through her sobs. The rain started during the final prayer, light, almost mist, like even the sky was afraid of making noise. I waited until the crowd left. Then I stood alone before her tombstone, no umbrella, just the drizzle soaking into my scrubs. "How many is this now?" I asked aloud. The system answered without hesitation. "Mission 3 failed." I nodded. "Figures." I looked at the wet stone. Amanda's name carved clean. Birth date, death date. A space beneath that read, "Forever loved." I tilted my head. "Other systems erase the host after failure. Why haven't you?" The system paused. "Because you've done an excellent job." I laughed once, hollow. "I failed." "Maybe, but it's a matter of perspective. These targets, the ones you're assigned to, they always want to feel like they're saving someone else. They crave meaning, validation, control." I didn't respond. "You, Henry, are the variable. You remind them they're not in control." I looked down at the mud around my shoes. "Ready to proceed?" "No," I whispered. "But go ahead." Erasing in progress. It started slow. The rain, the sounds, her name, her voice. The memory of her hospital bed. The taste of her birthday cake. The exact curve of her hand when she held mine. All of it, fading. Erasure complete. New target detected. I blinked, turned. There, in the hallway of the hospital, stood a girl in a cardigan. She had soft features, wide eyes. A patient chart clutched nervously to her chest. She looked up. "Doctor, will you save me?" I smiled.